The crowd inside the grand auditorium buzzed with excitement. Hundreds of people, bright lights, and cameras pointed at a stage where dreams were either born or shattered. The talent show had already seen dazzling dancers, confident comedians, and singers who left the judges smiling but not speechless. Yet no one could have guessed that the quietest boy waiting backstage would soon silence the entire room. 13-year-old Eli Carter stood behind the thick red curtain, clutching a worn-out guitar with trembling hands. The guitar was old, scratched, a string slightly out of color, but it was all he had left of his father. The name Dad was still faintly carved into the back, written by a child's shaky hand years ago. He could hear the host's voice booming through the speakers. Next up, we have Eli Carter, singing Hotel California. The crowd clapped politely. Somewhere in the audience, a judge muttered under his breath, "A kid singing Hotel California? That's ambitious." Another raised an eyebrow. It was the kind of skepticism that filled rooms before miracles happened. Eli took a deep breath. His heart pounded like a drum in his chest. He wasn't just nervous. He was terrified. For months, he had sung only in the quiet of his small room, where no one could hear him but the memory of his father. His mom worked double shifts at a diner to pay rent, and every night Eli would sit by the window, singing the songs his father once played to calm him when the world felt too heavy. Tonight, he wasn't singing for fame. He wasn't singing to impress the judges. He was singing to keep a promise, the one he made when his father took his last breath. "Don't stop singing, son. The world needs to hear you." As the lights dimmed, Eli stepped forward. For a moment, he could barely see through the glare. The microphone stood in front of him like a mountain he had to climb. He took another breath, placed his fingers on the guitar strings, and whispered, almost to himself, "This one's for you, Dad." The first notes of Hotel California floated softly through the hall, shaky but pure. People leaned forward, curious. And then, something happened. His voice, delicate yet powerful, filled the air like a whisper of hope. Each word carried a story, every note a heartbeat. The judges exchanged glances. One of them slowly put down her pen. Eli didn't just sing the song. He lived it. He poured his loneliness, his loss, his love, and his courage into every syllable. By the time he reached the chorus, "Welcome to the Hotel California," his voice soared, echoing through the hall, and the audience fell utterly silent. It wasn't just a performance anymore, it was a moment, one that would be remembered. As Eli sang, the air in the auditorium seemed to change. The audience that moments ago whispered and fidgeted now sat frozen, like time itself had stopped to listen. His voice wasn't perfect. It cracked, wavered, but there was something raw, something real in every breath. Each lyric carried the ache of a boy who had seen too much, too soon. Such a lovely place. Such a lovely face. A woman in the front row pressed her hand to her mouth. One of the judges, Marissa Lane, felt her eyes sting with tears, something she hadn't felt in years of judging endless performances. She had heard thousands of singers, but none who sounded like this, none whose voice felt like truth. She leaned toward the other judge and whispered, "There's something about him." "That song, it's almost like—" But she didn't finish, because suddenly she remembered. Years ago, her own brother used to play Hotel California every night before he left for the army, and he never came back. The same chords, the same rhythm. And now, this small boy with pain far too big for his age was bringing all those memories flooding back. Meanwhile, Eli stood on that stage, unaware of the ripple his voice had caused. His fingers trembled slightly as he played the next verse. He looked at the crowd, faces blurry under the lights. But in his mind, he saw only one face, his father's. He remembered the night his dad first taught him to play. They sat on the porch, the stars bright and careless, his dad's laughter echoing in the dark. "Music isn't about being perfect, Eli," he had said. "It's about being honest." And so that's what Eli did. He sang honestly. He sang like someone with nothing left to lose. Halfway through the song, the mic began to buzz faintly. A few heads turned. For a split second, Eli hesitated, fear flashing in his eyes. He thought the sound might ruin everything. But then a man in the audience, a sound technician, much older, quickly adjusted the levels. The buzz disappeared. Eli exhaled, refocused, and continued, his voice trembling but unbroken. And that was when something magical happened. One by one, the audience began to lift their phone lights. The entire hall filled with tiny white stars, waving gently to the rhythm of his song. It looked like the universe itself had come to listen. The judges, who had once doubted him, now stared in awe. The youngest judge, Leo Rivers, leaned forward, whispering, "That's not just talent, that's soul." Eli closed his eyes for the final line. "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave." When the last note faded, there was silence. Complete, breathtaking silence. Then, thunder. A standing ovation roared through the room, echoing off the walls like a storm. People were crying, clapping, shouting his name. Eli's hands shook. He blinked against the tears rising in his eyes. He didn't understand what was happening. He just knew he had kept his promise. Backstage, his mother stood with both hands over her heart, tears streaming down her face. For the first time in years, she saw her son shine, not just as a boy, but as a light. One of the judges pressed the golden buzzer. A shower of golden confetti exploded above him, falling like blessings from heaven. Eli dropped his guitar and covered his mouth in disbelief. But what happened next was something even he could never have imagined. Golden confetti shimmered around him like falling sunlight. Eli stood frozen under the spotlight, his face wet with tears and disbelief. The crowd kept cheering his name. "Eli! Eli!" And for the first time since his father's passing, he smiled a smile that reached his eyes. But then, something unexpected happened. Judge Marissa Lane, the same woman who had been silently crying during his performance, pressed her button and leaned forward to speak. Her voice trembled as it echoed through the microphone. "Eli, when you started singing, I thought it was just another song. But then you sang Hotel California, and it brought back memories I'd buried for years. My brother, he used to play that song before he left for the army. We lost him overseas. Tonight, your voice made me feel like he was sitting right here beside me again. Thank you." The audience went quiet again, this time not from awe, but from the shared ache in her words. Eli wiped his eyes. His voice shook as he whispered, "My dad used to play it too. I learned it from him before he passed away." Gasps echoed softly in the audience. In that instant, it was as if every wall between the stage and the seats disappeared. Just a boy and a woman, two strangers, connected by the same melody of love and loss. Marissa smiled through her tears. "He must be so proud of you right now." Eli looked up toward the glowing lights above. They blurred into golden circles, like halos, and whispered so softly the mic barely caught it. "I hope he heard me." The youngest judge, Leo, stood and clapped slowly. "Eli, tonight you reminded all of us why music matters. It's not about fame or notes. It's about the moments that make us feel alive. You didn't just sing a song. You gave us a memory." The crowd erupted again, louder this time, cheering not for fame, but for truth. Eli's mother ran onto the stage, unable to hold back anymore. She wrapped her arms around him, her voice breaking. "Your dad would have said the same thing. He always knew your heart was bigger than your fear." The golden confetti still drifted down, catching in their hair, sparkling under the lights. Cameras zoomed in on the boy and his mother, a moment pure and unfiltered, where loss turned into legacy. When the show ended that night, the clip of Eli's performance went online. Within hours, it spread across the world, millions of views, countless comments. This made me cry. He sang what my heart feels. Reminded me of my dad. In living rooms, hospitals, and quiet bedrooms across the globe, people listened and healed a little. Weeks later, Eli sat on his porch again, the same old guitar resting on his lap. The stars were out, just like that night long ago. His mom stepped outside, holding a letter in her hand. "It's from the show," she said softly. They want you to perform again. This time live at the grand finale. Eli smiled, a gentle, knowing smile. Then I'll sing again. For him. For everyone who ever missed someone they love. He strummed the first notes, calm, steady, golden, and somewhere, maybe far beyond the stars, a father listened. Proud, smiling, humming along to the song that never truly ended. Music is more than sound. It's memory, healing and love that refuses to die. Even when voices fade, songs remain, reminding us that the people we've lost still live in the melodies we carry.